This is the story of an innocent and beautiful young university student who caught the wrong guy's attention and because no one would help her, lost her life. On January 6, 1999, the 21-year-old Shiori Ino was at a Japanese arcade center with a friend in Omiya Station, Saitama. They played video games, slot machines that high school girls like to use. Shiori and her friend were having trouble with the photo booth machine when a 26-year-old man named Kazuhito Komatsu offered to help. He then invited them to karaoke where he flirted with Shiori and got her phone number. Kazuhito, who was actually a 26-year-old man, but told Shiori he was 23 and gave her a fake name as Makoto. They began dating after spending a couple of weeks exchanging messages. He claimed to be an inspiring entrepreneur, but was actually connected to brothels posing as massage parlors. Shiori agreed to go on dates with Kazuhito, but as his obsession with her grew, he began bombarding her with luxury brand products and forcing her to accept them. His behavior grew more erratic as he physically and mentally harassed her and threatened her and her family. Shiori discovered that Kazuhito was not who he said he was after she stumbled upon a credit card bearing his real name inside his car. At this point, Shiori tried to break up with him, but he wouldn't leave her alone. She also thought that he may be connected to bad people because he had two Mercedes cars, carried thousands of dollars in the trunk of his car, and once he was in a car accident, many Yakuza gang type of people came to visit him in the hospital. When Shiori refused to stay with him, he threatened her and her family. He even contacted a credit bureau to investigate her father's company and threatened the men she started dating. He also told Shiori his plan if she continued to stay away from him, saying, "If you still want to break up, you'll be mentally hunted down and punished. I will ruin your father and destroy your family. Don't think of me as an ordinary man. I won't forgive the woman who betrays me. I can use my personal connections and all of my fortune to crush you. I don't need to do it myself. There are many people who I can control with money." Kazuhito, his brother Takeshi, and another person accused Shiori of receiving embezzled money and demanded it back. But Shiori's father requested proof and called the police. Shiori also recorded the conversation and decided to report the incident to them. The day after her visit, Shiori took the recording to the police and told them about meeting Kazuhito, his threatening behavior, constant gift-giving, and stalking phone calls. However, the police did not provide any protection or support. Instead, they accused Shiori of exploiting the man by accepting his gifts and hurting his feelings by ending their relationship. Even one of the detectives who listened to her story responded, "No, this is not an incident if you say that you want to break up after receiving so many gifts. A man usually gets angry. Didn't you think it was a bad idea? That's why the police can't help you." The next day, Shiori and her parents went to the police again for help, but were told to try a free legal clinic run by a chamber of commerce. However, the lawyers there also refused to help, questioning whether Shiori had received valuable gifts from Kazuhito. After these failed attempts at seeking support, Kazuhito called Shiori and demanded they get back together. She refused and reported him to the police, which angered him and led to him hanging up. On June 21st, Shiori returned all the gifts and money she had received from Kazuhito in the hopes that he would stop stalking and harassing her and be content with getting his presents back. Upset by Shiori's refusals, Kazuhito and his friends harassed her and her family. They then put up posters with her image and personal details, labeling her with derogatory terms. If you don't know, police in Japan avoid intervention to keep crime rates low by encouraging individuals to resolve matters without interference. Police encourage victims, particularly in domestic cases, to refrain from filing complaints and wait to see if the situation resolves itself. This way they can keep the crimes off record. On July 29th, Shiori finally wanted to file an official complaint against Kazuhito because his harassment had gotten much more threatening and extreme. The police accepted the complaint but told her they were busy, so it would take time to follow up. With no help from the police, 1,200 defamatory letters were sent to Shiori's father's company on August 23rd. Despite no police assistance, Shiori's father handed over the letters to the authorities with hopes to put an end to Kazuhiro's actions. The detective once again dismissed the letters as pointless and laughed. After that, the police visited Shiori's home to discuss her complaint against Kazuhito, but instead of gathering more evidence, pressured her to withdraw it. They falsely promised her that she could file a complaint again if she withdrew it, but police procedures prohibit refilling for the same offense after withdrawal. Shiori and her family declined police's attempt to withdraw the complaint. Police pressured to keep crime rates low and cases resolved quickly. They hoped to close Kazuhito and Shiori's case to make their department look good. Shiori's family refused, so police falsified the report as just an incident, avoiding an official outcome. Kazuhito and his brother sought revenge on Shiori for involving the police by ending her life. They hired a manager from their brothel, who accepted money in exchange for murder, Yoshifumi Kubuta, and two associates, Akika Kawakami and Yoshitaka Ito, agreed to kill Shiori for 18 million yen or 175,000 US dollars. They observed her for months to track her school routine and usual hangouts. Meanwhile, Kazuhito took a trip to Okinawa to avoid arousing suspicion. On October 26, 1999, at around 1 p.m. in front of Okigawa Station, Shiori grabbed her bike and was about to head to her university when Kubuta approached her and stabbed her in her side. Then a fatal stab to her heart. Bleeding out, people who saw her fall helped her and called the police, but it was too late and she died on the street before an ambulance arrived. According to an eyewitness, the man who stabbed her had a grin on his face as he walked away from her collapsed body. One of Kubuta's two associates, Kawakami, was waiting in a getaway car, while the other, Yoshitaka, was watching Shiori's house to report when she was leaving so the other two could get ready to commit the murder. Despite Kazuhito hiring a killer in hopes to evade suspicion, the police were quick to realize that the crime had been orchestrated by Kazuhito and his brother, and also his associates. But before the police could capture anyone, they had one more thing left to do to protect their incompetence. They tried everything to paint Shiori as gold digger. They fabricated lies such as Shiori was actually working at Kazuhito's brothel and was getting money and lavish gifts from him. They were trying to portray Shiori as a money-hungry girl who deserved what she got. Unfortunately, the campaign worked, and many media outlets and tabloids ran with the story instead of an innocent university student who was a victim of stalking. Shiori was seen as a streetwalker looking to do anything to fill her pockets. Most believed police lies, but only one journalist, Kiyoshi Shimizu, investigated and exposed the truth in Focus magazine. Details of stalking, threats, and Kazuhito's photo were revealed. Police lied, forged documents, media exposed Kazuhito's true identity. His brothel ties and criminal activity led to police investigating Shiori's murder. Kazuhito remained absent from Saitama and reports confirmed he was in Okinawa. However, on December 19th, Kobuta, the massage parlor manager who murdered Shiori, was apprehended and interrogated by police. He said he was paid to kill Shiori by Kazuhito's brother Takeshi. On the other hand, Kazuhito's body was found in Frozen Lake on December 27th in Hokkaido. He took his own life, leaving a note in his luggage, thus avoiding justice. However, his brother and two associates, Kobuta and Takeshi, were arrested and charged for Shiori's murder. Kobuta got 18 years in jail for fatally stabbing Shiori, while his accomplices got 15 years each. Kazuhito's brother Takeshi received life imprisonment. He was convicted for encouraging harassment and arranging the murder with his brother, being labeled the mastermind who paid accomplices without acting personally. His appeal failed. Police falsified documents and neglected to investigate. Investigation revealed multiple errors and resulted in dismissal of 3 senior officers. Family compensated for Shiori's death, but penalties for police officers were minimal. Majority received mere 5% to 10% salary reduction for a few months. Before the police trial, the Saitama police chief regretted not taking Shiori's complaint seriously. However, during the trial, the police denied any negligence and denied the connection between the investigation and Shiori's murder. For that reason, Shiori's family sued the police of Saitama Prefecture, demanding a compensation of 110 million yen. While the court denied the police's mismanagement of the situation contributed to Shiori's murder, they still ruled that a total of 5.5 million yen were to be paid to the family, which is only about 5% of what they desired. Japanese society witnessed a big blunder due to the police department's failure. Media's smear campaign against Shiori and the preventable murder. However, Shiori's death was not in vain. After discovering the truth about a girl's murder and the public demanded a change, Japan responded by creating the Anti-Stalker Act in 2000, which made pursuit and stalking illegal. This empowers victims to fight back against harassment and make criminal complaints, despite police attempts to pressure them into handling it themselves. The Anti-Stalker Act was updated in January 2017 to cover cyberstalking and online harassment, and increase the criminal penalty of stalking. It also allows for prosecution without an official complaint from the victim and ensures that police address cases of online bullying and stalking. Hopefully, it won't happen again. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.